Hello, everyone. How's it going? So happy to see you all coming on. Don't you love webinars? You don't have to do your hair or anything. It's great. So welcome, welcome. I'm going to get started. I have so much I want to share with you today. So I recommend that you have a pen and a notebook. I'm almost at the very end of this notebook. I only have one page left. So we have a lot of great things to share with you. And I do encourage you to turn off all of your cell phone notifications, all of that, and just really dedicate yourself to this, this hour. I'm going to keep it at an hour. And I want, unless we have people who have questions afterwards, I can always stay with you. I do want to encourage you to just remind you that you can watch the replay. It gets sent to you on my email. So if you're not on my email, you should get on that because it's so helpful. And let's go for it. So I love doing these. I love doing slides just because it keeps you focused, it keeps me focused. And I know for me, I really like knowing where I'm going and super helpful. So I want to hear from you. Okay, first of all, we're going to talk about the top 3 lies about comfort food and the truth of how to really achieve comfort. And I want to say right off the bat, I actually don't care how much you weigh. Yes, I am Dara Thomason. I am the weight and life coach for quilters. And your weight has nothing to do with your worth. So you losing weight will make no difference for you being a better person or not. The only way that losing weight would make you a better person is, and people think this, is because it's all their thoughts about themselves. So I just want to say that right off the bat, your weight has truly nothing to do with your worth. Your worth is already 100%. That is so important to know when we're talking about something like this. And I do want to honor you, and I want to shout you out that you're here on this call, because one of the main problems with weight loss is there's a ton of shame involved with it. And when you feel shame, what that does, shame loves to grow in the dark. I kind of joke around with my clients that shame is like mushrooms. It grows in the dark and fed by a lot of poop. And so we've been feeding ourselves a lot of really unhealthy stories and really not helping us at all. And so just the fact that you're on this call and you're here tells me that you're on the road for recovery, because we don't need any more shame. We're not feeding ourselves any more poop, and we're not staying in the dark. So kudos for being here. All right. So what do you want? You want to feel good. You want to not have a lot of pain or problems. You want to feel calm, and you want to feel together in your life. You want to feel like you are in control. You want to feel proud of yourself. You want to feel proud of your body. You want to be productive and happy. You want to feel safe and secure, and you want to be able to trust yourself. So in the chat, I'm just going to turn my light on because we have a cloud covering. In the chat, I want you just to write down, what else do you want? So you came to this webinar. I'm just going to get the chat open. So on the bottom, I just want you to write, what do you want? Did I miss anything? I'm just going to turn the lights on. So do you want to have more control of your stash? Do you want to trust yourself more? So when you make a plan, you're going to follow your plan. I want to feel like I have things figured out. Yes. What else do we want? We're all here. We all want, we want great results on our blood test done annually. Yes. Oh my goodness. One of my clients in my program right now, she reported last week, she's lost 39 pounds and she's down 39 points for her cholesterol. So exciting. Okay. So let's go to this really fun question. What are your go-to comfort foods? What foods do you just like? You're feeling bad, you're feeling something, you're like, I just want to eat what? I get rid of fear or failure. Yes, I want to stop feeling like I'm a failure all the time. It's like if you're casting a movie and they're saying, I want the person that fails all the time. It's like, I don't want to be that role. I don't want to be that actor. But why are we doing that in our own lives, right? Okay. What are your go-to foods? Oh, here we go. Cookies, chips and salsa, chocolate, nuts and bread. What else? We have more than that. Okay, so I have some ideas for you. Chips and chocolate, yes. So why cookies? Do they have childhood memories? Is there like a smell involved? Is there, some memory about your mother or your grandmother or someone? Peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Yes, when I was pregnant with my first child, I was like, peanut butter and banana and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches was like chocolate milk. I just ate that so much. No wonder I gained so much weight when I was my first pregnancy. So mac and cheese, is this something that you learned to cook for yourself when you were first learning to take care of yourself? Was that like something that you felt really proud of that you had eaten, right? Burgers and fries. When something special happened, did your family go and celebrate? So I want you to think about why are these things normally associated with comfort foods? Okay. So what do you think? I want to hear your opinions because I love this. Where do you think the notion of comfort food really came from in the first place? So I started it off with brainstorming. Okay. So I want you to continue on. So I thought we turn to this food to feel better when you're lonely or sad or disappointed. Did you turn to that food? Was it associated with like an achievement or a success? Like, did you have a dance recital and then you all went for Dairy Queen? Did you do well on your school report? So your family just took you out for dinner? Like what about childhood memories? So what other ideas do you think we have this whole notion of comfort food even come from? Did I miss any? I'd love to hear your chat. This is super fun to be interactive in this, okay? So where else do you think the notion of comfort food came from? So as you're thinking about them and putting in the chat, what have you done to get these results? So do you turn to food to have an emotion? You're like, I'm feeling really something. Oh, my dad loved cookies and we sat and ate cookies together. Homemade chocolate chip, not chewy, not crispy. Right? Oh, not chewy, crispy. Right. So there was a memory associated with your dad talking together. It's like a hug. Oh, interesting. So we're going to talk about why certain foods have certain reactions. And it's a fancy word called dopamine. And we're going to talk about that. So that's interesting. So we feel like it's a hug. We have a memory associated. My father-in-law talks about how one day his father and him sat on a stoop with one ice cream container and 2 spoons. And that was like super bonding and connecting to him. And so we turn to food to have an emotion. We anticipate eating the food to feel better. We focus our mind juice, our energy. And those of you who are taking my procrastination class, you're going to learn a lot more about mind juice. I'm going to be talking about that. Rely on physical external objects to create an internal change. So how does that ring true for you? All right, so I want to introduce myself. This is me on various stages of my weight. So I'm Dara Thomason. I have 5 children. I live on Vancouver Island, and I am a certified weight and life coach. I was a professional quilter. I actually just have a brand new book that's come out called Doodle School. There's 2 of them actually. And I used to teach a lot of quilters how to do free motion quilting. I was the free motion quilting liberator. And I've lost 50 pounds without counting calories or exercising. And I've kept that weight off for 3 years. So fun. And the last 20 pounds that I lost, I didn't even intend to lose that weight. It just came off because of the way that I figured out how to lose weight. And I will talk to you later on in the webinar about how you can learn that process as well. But today, right now, I'm just going to focus on the 3 lies about comfort food and find the truth of how to create true comfort without any calories or spending any money. So good. And I just want you to think about how much time and money are you going to save and how many calories and heartache for being here. So again, I wanted to shout you out and just say congratulations for being here. It just shows me that you are ready for change. And that's really, really exciting. What a wonderful place for you to be. Okay, so these are the lies. The first lie is food makes you feel better. And I know these pictures are kind of like salivating a little bit. I get it. I know. Food, line number 2, food solves your problems. It's like, oh, I don't know what to do. Oh, I know. I'm going to grab a burger. I'm going to go for dim sum or whatever it is. And the third lie about comfort food is food will take your problems away. How many of you broke up with a boyfriend and was like, I know, I'll just get some ice cream. That's going to solve it. If things are going wrong in your family and with your kids, you're like, guess what? We can just go for some ice cream and everything will be better. How often does that happen? Or things aren't going well in my marriage. I know we should go for some treats. We should get some excitement. Okay. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with ice cream. In fact, I don't say there's no bad food other than if it's like, rotten, obviously. But like ice cream is good, but there's just better foods and there's best foods. And that's for another webinar. So why haven't you experienced your desired results yet? Because I really want you to think about, how many diets have you been on? How many times have you spoken to yourself and said, okay, this time we're going to do it for real? So why haven't you experienced your desired results yet? Well, because food doesn't solve our problems. And when we turn to food, we actually don't get to the root of the real problem. And then we have this whole negative cycle, self-talk cycle that happens, and it's very destructive. Mental and physical health have never been at such an all-time high in our world. 2021, we have never seen so much mental illness. We have never seen so much obesity. And it really is being able to relate to this and how destructive negative self-talk is. People have not realized. That's why with life coaching, thinking about your thinking, we are able to stop that more and more. And I see ladies on here that are my clients. Some of them have lost 80 pounds, 50 pounds, 70 pounds. And a big reason is because they have been able to learn to, first of all, recognize the negative self-talk, and they're able to pull over, figure out why they're doing that, and stop punching themselves. I call it punching yourself in the face, less and less. You've also gone on a lot of unsustainable approaches. How many of you have said, okay, this morning I'm doing it. I'm cleaning out my pantry. I'm just going to eat clean for the rest of my life. Okay. That's really unsustainable because you're not addressing the problem. You're not realistic to expect food to, you're not making realistic expectations for food to solve, because really the only problem that food actually solves is hunger. And we also need food to repair our body. We need more minerals and nutrients. And we also need food as a way of caring for our young and caring for ourselves. So we give up quickly so we don't figure it out. How many of us have quit on diets? How many of us have said, nope, it's not working. The scale goes up 0.5 a pound. You're like, yep, I'm a failure. Might as well eat some donuts. Okay. And then we resist, we react, and avoid the issues. So if you go to my webinar, to my podcast, or to my YouTube channel, I have a lot more information about that as well, of what that means. So are you ready? I'm going to teach you so the top 3 lies of comfort food and discover the truth. So I'm going to teach you about the truth about how food affects us. I'm going to teach you about the essentials of redefining the role of food. And I'm going to teach you about having to solve for the real problem. So if we go to what is the truth about how over hunger and over desire affect us? So when you think about why we're overweight because simply we're putting more food in our mouth than our body can handle. So if you think about our body like a car has a gas tank and it only has a certain capacity to be able to fill it. And if we fill up our gas tank and then we go down the road and we want to keep filling our gas tank, we're like, oh, we got to get some more gas. Gas is on sale. We should probably get some more gas. Our body is the car is like, no, I'm sorry, we don't have any more capacity. And you're like, okay, well, I guess we'll get some jerry cans. So literally all the extra body fat we have on us is that just because we've put more fuel in our body than our body can use at the time. So what happens is when we have this over hunger and over desire, our body goes into a state of withdrawal. And then our body we have like huge cravings. We're like, no, we need more, please more. And then when we do that, our hormones get out of whack. And there's only 3 hormones that have to do with weight loss. We got all sorts of misunderstanding, about weight loss. And so now our hunger scale is thrown off. And so now we don't really know when we're really hungry. We don't really know when we are full, and we are all out of whack. And so no wonder we have so many problems. So why is this a problem? Well, our brain has a dopamine withdrawal. Our body has a glucose withdrawal. Our body's like, oh, remember when you gave us all that amazing energy all the time? It felt so good. Just keep coming. Just keep bringing it. So we have like a whiny temper tantrum going on. And then our body is resistant to tapping into the fat stores. So that's how we lose weight. We start using the jerry cans that we've been storing on us. But if we don't have our hormones and if we don't have like everything in check, our body's saying, no, even though we have all this extra weight, let's just like go to deprivation here. And then when we stop buffering, everything comes to the surface. So then we're like, oh, then all of a sudden now we are realizing we have these problems and we're having a hard time solving them. Okay. So that's all that's happening. That's why we have a problem. Okay. Now, why is this a problem? Well, because we have to eat. We have to eat as humans. That is essential. And I want you to know that essentially, this is all we need to eat to stay alive. We need vegetables. Oops, I spelled those wrong. We need vegetables. We need meat or beans. We need healthy fat. And we need water. That's all we need. Those 4 things. So all those other things, they're not necessary and they cause us problems. Now, I'm not telling you that you could never eat ice cream again, because I don't want to live a life. The way I teach weight loss is like, we want to live, how we lose the weight is how we're going to like keep the weight off. And so this is like a lifelong way of eating. So I definitely eat ice cream. I definitely eat cake still. I definitely eat apple crisp. I definitely eat all of those things. And I'm like 150 pounds and I'm 6 feet tall. Okay. Because I am now in peace with all of the things about my body. And so this is a problem and we don't know how to manage it. So this is what happens, ladies. We have a desire. So, I mean, look at these gumballs. Look at the chocolates. Look at the pumpkin squares drizzled with caramel and chocolate. Look at all the new fun Starbucks drinks. They look so yummy, right? So desire causes deprivation. Now, diet mentality gives the diet the power to be the solution. So we're like, oh, so if I just do this diet, then I can feel better. But the problem is that desire causes deprivation, and you cause your own desire. And the secret to losing weight is to not desire food. So it's like the cat, if the dog is chasing his tail all the time, you just get in this loop of like, but I want it. And then I feel deprivation. And then I say, okay, well, if the diet's going to be my solution, right? Then you're giving all the power to the solution and you're never learning how to work through deprivation. You're never learning what it actually is talking about. So I want to illustrate this to you. Okay. So this is what's really happening. You're like, I feel terrible. I feel miserable. I feel deprivation. I feel bad. Okay. So we have this feeling in us. And then we're like, oh, wait a minute. When I eat pizza or ice cream or chocolate, I don't feel miserable in that moment. So then you're like, okay, I'm going to go do that. But then what happens? right? You feel miserable after you've eaten, and you haven't actually solved the problem of why you were feeling terrible in the first place. And now you have all these extra calories and you have this upset stomach, and then you've broken trust with yourself. Yes. So now I call this like, you're like triply disappointed because you don't take care of the real problem. You eat food that you didn't in the moment tasted good. And so now you have all these extra calories to deal with, and you have all this broken trust to deal with yourself. And you feel like totally empowered and untrustworthy to do anything. Okay. So that's really what's happening. All right. So what happens when we restrict ourselves with food? It actually reveals the underlying neural pathways, habits, and addictions that need to be extinguished. That's all that needs to happen. So we need to learn to embrace discomfort. You're like, Dara, I don't want that. But this is all that needs to happen. We need to learn to 3 to 6 weeks. I recommend 6 weeks with my clients. We start on this path, and you're going to have some physical discomforts. And let me read those to you. Okay. I didn't write them in the program. I mean, in the slide, but I want to read them to you. So you can expect that you are going to feel headaches. You're going to feel, here a second, let me find them. Oh, here we go. I got them all here. Flu-like symptoms, headaches, weakness, physical cravings, urges to overeat, urges to binge, hunger, and slight dizziness. Have you ever gone off Diet Coke or like an aspartame thing that you were addicted to? It's the same thing. Food is the same way. Food is like a drug, right? And then emotionally, you're going to feel deprivation. You're going to feel stress. You're going to feel anxiety. You're going to feel food. You're going to have a lot of food focused thinking. You're going to feel isolation. You're going to feel depression. You're going to feel loss, right? Like, how often is food a friend to you? And you feel like, but like they're always there for me. You're going to feel some depression. You're going to feel some loss, self-pity. You're going to feel rage, and you're going to feel irritated. Okay. So that's just what's going to happen. So when you can expect that, you're like, oh, here it is. This is all that's going to happen. And so what I wanted to share with you now, what do you think is real discomfort? Sorry, what is real comfort? How do you truly find comfort that's going to last? Because even the thing that's interesting about, like, even when Ruth said, my dad loved cookies and we sat and ate cookies together, it's actually not the cookie. So when you put the cookie in your mouth, it's not like it's like the light switch to having that memory come back. It literally is just saying, oh, I remember when my dad and we would have those conversations. Okay. And so you can just take your mind back to that experience. So what is real comfort? Okay, this is where I want you to put it in the chat. What's real comfort? What do you think? So obviously we have stitching and like completing projects and having that delayed gratification of working through a problem, solving that problem. What are other things that you do in your life? I want to hear from you. That's why I love the chat so much. What are things, spending time with grandchildren and with your kids? Yeah, what else provides real comfort, ladies, when you think about it? I was coaching a client this morning, and she was talking about when she gets the quilt back from the quilter, and she sees that all of those hours of work, all of that she's done in the finished project, when it's nicely folded, and she feels that gratitude to herself of like creating that for her. What else? What about a good book? What about a great podcast? A little self-promotion there. What about wonderful music? Soft clothing. Today, I put on one of my most cozy sweaters. This sweater, I just love it. Warmth, peacefulness, family moments, fresh laundry that is still warm. Absolutely. Scrapbooks. I do that all the time for my kids. I'll put a blanket in the dryer and I'll put it on them when we're going to do like a family movie or something. And they're just like, oh, thank you, Mom. Okay. What else? Soft blankets, sunshine, new sheets. I know for me, I love a brand new workbook. I love a new pen, a clean closet. Some of us really love scented candles, sleeping in, great movies. What other things create comfort for you? Animals. Oh, totally. Being in my sewing room. Yes. Even just like, I love just emptying a bin and just like going through fabric. And there's like so many memories. Are you listing them? Oh, you are listing them all. Oh, good. I'm getting you. I got your back, Darlene. Right. So I want you to just really go to that place of what truly does create comfort for me. So I talked about a little bit of like the neuroscience and neurotransmitters, and, you know, even going back to thinking about like cookies or the craft dinner or that security and safety or being like in that warm hug of an adult. And maybe that cookie or that drink or that whatever that is, it brings you back to that moment. It's because everything we do in life is because we want to feel a certain emotion. And so food, we have 5 senses: smell, taste, touch, sight, listening. Like, we have all our senses. So why do we put so much clout in our mouth? Why do you think we do that? Think about a child in their stage of development. Do you remember, like, as a baby, like there's that, they go through that stage where they put everything in their mouth. It's like they're exploring what's going on in their world by their mouth. But then remember when the baby learns to like actually recognize a voice, and they start yelling and they're like, oh, that I made that. And do you remember when they actually started recognizing themselves in the mirror? That was so cute. And then they would touch things and they made crinkly sounds. So some of us have really stalled in our progression by putting everything in our mouth and putting so much focus on our mouth and on taste. Whereas, you know, there's so much more beauty. Like there's sensory beauty, there's visual beauty, there's auditory beauty, like music and sunsets and, you know, Minky. Oh my gosh, I love Minky. Like texture, like I have this quilt on my lap and I did graffiti quilting on it and it has this really fun texture. Okay. So there's lots of other senses that give us as humans joy. And so we're not turning to the food for real joy. It's like trying to compensate for things. Okay. So what happens when we solve for the real problems? Well, we gain authority in our life. We have power to observe and then make changes. We give ourselves permission to live a full life, and we feel empowered and we have authority. So that's one of the things that comes up all the time with my clients that are losing the weight and they're keeping it off, is they realize that their life is a lot more than what they had thought it was. When you only focus on being comfort, being food, you are very close myopic in your life. You're not letting yourself see the big picture. And as I showed you, you know, you feel miserable and you try to solve for it. So you think, well, I don't feel miserable when I'm eating pizza or ice cream or cake or chocolate. But then when you eat those things, you have these momentary of unmisery, but then it's compounded even more because now you have, not only do you still feel miserable, but you have the calories, extra calories, and you have the stomach ache probably, and then you have the shame spiral, and then you have the broken trust with yourself. So you lack confidence. And so now you feel even more miserable because you have the aftermath of eating the food. So nothing changes. And in fact, everything gets worse. So that's why we have to be willing to go through the withdrawal, and we have to be able to create a balance again. And I do want to say, just before I move on, that one of the things I learned from Janine Roth when I went to her retreat 2 years ago was she wrote Woman, Faith in God. Yeah, I think so. Like that was called. And she said, every time we eat, it is truly an attempt to make us feel better. So when we were children, and maybe we got in trouble from our parents, or we got in trouble at school, or we got in a fight with our siblings, or someone called you a name, you didn't know how to self-soothe. You didn't know how to speak to yourself, to calm yourself down. You didn't really have that capacity because no one ever really teaches you how to think about your thinking. And so when you went to the chocolate chips in the pantry, or if you went to a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, every food that we eat literally does create a dopamine experience in our body. So it's part of our survival strategy. So when we were, starving and we had to find like maybe crickets, or we had to eat herbs or weeds or things that didn't taste very good, our body is wired to have a dopamine reaction when we eat food, only because that kept us to survive. But now that our society, we have over concentrated foods, it creates such an overload of dopamine that we're just really unregulated. And then if we keep doing it, it's just like an addiction, right? To like drugs, like one, I've never done drugs before, but what I understand about drugs and alcohol is, when you have one drink or one joint or whatever, it will, you get a buzz, but you're going to need more and more and more of that as you go to get the same level of buzz. And it's the same thing with food. Okay. It is really an addiction. So that's, we're going to learn how to regulate all of that. We're going to learn how to get our hormones back into balance. And so we can plan ahead for food. So don't get me wrong. We will be able to regain our trust. And so we'll be able to eat all the things, but it's in such a different place. Okay. So the other thing I want to just mention is when we learn to accept our body as it is right now, that's when we can create permanent change. So one of the problems is, and it goes back to the lies about comfort food, like food makes you feel better, food can solve your problems, food takes your problems away, is that it takes you out of a place of acceptance of why you have all this extra food storage on your body, why you're a walking storage container. So when you believe those lies, I call it playing hide and seek with yourself, and you never find what's really going on. And so I want you to just, even like right now, just kind of look at your body, kind of do a take and say, I'm the one who created these extra pounds. I'm the one who created the chaos in my life. I'm the one who created all of the things that I have in my life. And not until you can accept yourself for where you're at, will you be able to make the change. So I do want to emphasize that, because when you go on a diet, and like I said about desire and deprivation, you're not even allowing yourself the opportunity to understand why you need a diet in the first place, or why you have a problem with your body. Because truthfully, you can be very happy at 300 pounds as you can be at 130. But I know a lot of skinny rich people who are very unhappy, because skinny and rich, those don't give you results. Those are just circumstances. Okay. And so I do want to just emphasize to you, until you can accept exactly where you are right now, you might, and I can tell you, I'm sure many of you could all teach us a class on how to lose the weight, but it's keeping the weight off is the issue. And that's why the work that I do, and the reason why my clients have success, is because they're learning to accept themselves exactly where they are. And when you learn these skills, what really happens when you accept yourself exactly where you are, you take responsibility for why you're overweight, why you overspend, why you have so many UFOs, why you spend so much time on social media. You build your own foundation of belief, which makes you now independent. So so many people say, well, how did you lose the weight, Dara? Just how did you lose the weight and how do you keep it off? Just tell me what you do. Just write it all down and I'll just do it. And then I can do it. And that's called how greed. And the problem is you never become the person who loses weight. If you're always wanting to know the how, like, tell me how to do it, tell me what to eat, tell me all the recipes, tell me this, tell me that. I mean, I could share that with you, and I do share it with my clients. But until you become the person who loses weight, you're not going to be able to create that for yourself. So that's what I talk about with building your own foundation of belief, which makes you now independent of someone who can truly lose weight and keep it off. So we make goals that we want for us and not what we think we should. So we now become the authority of our own emotions and really see what's going on. So why this works? Because you're going to learn these skills. You're going to learn that you can rely when we rely on others for our worth. So our like circumstances, like our weight. So when we're like, when I think I can, when I weigh a certain amount, or when my pants are a certain size, then I can deem myself worthy. So when we keep putting all of our worth on external things, then we will always fall short, because even when we do have a compliment or when we have the belief about ourselves first, we won't even believe them. Okay. And we need to build our own foundation of belief, which makes us independent. And we make goals that we want for us and not what we think we should. Okay. Does that make sense? Like, I really want you all to just really embrace this, because this is not what's being taught in the world. The world says, do what I'm saying, do what I do, and you'll have results. But the problem with that is we sew the whole row on backwards, and we have to unpick. We lose our passwords. We get overdue bills that we thought we had paid, but we hadn't. We have clogged toilets. We washed a quilt and we didn't use enough color fasteners. And so now the quilt has now bled. Like, we have problems in life. And if we're just following the schedule of like how to eat, how to do this, and we don't solve the real problems, then we don't know how to handle things. And we don't know how to like really embrace all the parts of our life. Okay. Why this works. So we start living our lives how we want to live. We can troubleshoot for our own problems. We are independent and no longer seeking approval or permission. And we save a lot of time on wasted and unhelpful thought patterns. Some of my clients come to me and they've been trying to solve the same problem, like by thinking that their worth has to do with their weight for so many years. So they've yo-yo dieted. They're like, oh, no, I just need to lose weight and then I can be happy. So when they've lost the weight, they're like, wait a minute, I'm not totally happy. What's happening? Why am I not totally happy? This doesn't make sense. I thought that when I wore these jeans and when I bought this new wardrobe, then I would be happy. Oh, well, it's not worth it. Donuts. Okay. Might as well have the donuts. If you can't be happy, we'll have a moment. So this is what you can expect. You're going to be able to work through your challenges. You're going to be able to build confidence in yourself. And this is one of my favorite things, is you get to stop beating yourself up and you start knowing who you are. So many of my clients say, I don't even know who I am. They've been living for other people their whole lives. They've been trying to buy into the fairy tale, happily ever after. They're like, why do I still have problems? Because life will always be, there's always going to be problems, but how you solve them, that's where I get to help you with that. Okay. So in this training, we talked about the truth about how food affects us, the role of food. So like dopamine withdrawals, all of that. Role of food is really literally just to give us like nutrients in our body, repair our body. And it's a way for us to show care to other people and to create true comfort, and not to go down this really nasty cycle of thinking that the food is going to give us the comfort. So I want you to ask yourself, how are you better from watching this webinar? What was your biggest takeaway? How will this training affect your life moving forwards? Like, even one thing, you're like, oh, I can just have the memory of me and my dad eating cookies. I don't actually have to go and make the cookies. Or if you want to be like me, I have so many memories. I don't have very many memories of my grandma Mary, but one of my favorite memories of her is she called them flapjacks, and she called them hot cakes, and she called them pancakes. And she had an Aunt Jemima bottle, and she had the little outfit for Aunt Jemima's bottle, and she had the CBC on the playing, and we were all sitting around the table. I was 7 years old, 6 or 7, and she kept talking about hot cakes and flapjacks and just that smell and all of that. And I have very few memories of her. And so I want to be the mom who makes hot cakes and flapjacks. And sometimes I even do alphabets, and I do little designs, because who never eats the pancakes? I don't need to eat the pancakes to have the joy of the pancake story in my home. And my boys love it when I make them pancakes. But I know what happens when I eat pancakes. I feel sick. I feel bloated. I feel gross. My kids are growing so fast. My one son has grown 5 inches in the last year. My other son, I think, is at 7. They need pancakes. They need lots of carbs. I don't need that. I've done my growing. Okay. So that's that's a good change. It's an example. So take one thing, commit to change, and enjoy the transformation. I love being the fun pancake mom. It's super fun for me. All right. So that's our training for today. Thank you so much for coming. And now I'm going to teach you what it would be like for you to be able to put this in your own life. Okay. So how would this affect you? All right. Are you ready? So I'm going to be teaching the love yourself thin process. So I think I mentioned, I did earlier. So I've lost 50 pounds. And when I lost 30, I was thrilled. In fact, I was over the top. I was only 6 pounds from my wedding weight, and I had had 5 kids, and it was in perimenopause. I still am. And I thought, there's no way, that's amazing. 30 pounds down. I'm 6 pounds from my wedding weight. I've been married 20 years. This is amazing. And so I just started focusing on enjoying my life and quilting for my clients and applying all my life coaching tools that I learned. And I just kept noticing the scale kept going down, and I was like, what's happening? And by Christmas, so that was in May, and by Christmas, I was 150 pounds. I had lost 50 pounds. It was so fun. I lost 20 pounds without even thinking about it. And that's when I realized, when we truly learn to love ourselves, when we truly learn what this is all about, like really taking care of me, I just lose weight because I want to take care of myself so well. And I will talk to you about my process. In fact, it's in it's in the slides here, but I'm going to be teaching the whole process. I have 12 modules in our live event, October 18th to 20th. So it's coming up. Isn't that fun? And I thought, where would be a really fun place to host it? And I'm doing it at Lisa Bonjean's Retreat Center. So I'm Lisa Bonjean's one-on-one coach. We started back in before the retreat center was even built. So I've been coaching her all through that. And we kept talking about, I'm going to come and do a retreat. And so I thought, seize the moment. Let's do it. So you can come live. It's going to be amazing. And join those ladies. If you can't come live, it's totally fine. We are going to live stream it. It's going to be amazing. And I have my tech lady. She's got her plane ticket. She's going to be there. And we're going to live stream you so you can raise your hand. You can get coached. It's like you're just there. Okay. And you can even FaceTime us while we're stitching at night if you can't make it. And that's okay. So here it is. So it's $3,000 for the live event and the 13 weeks afterwards of total support. So we've got, this is her brand new, it's not the best picture. So you can attend live or virtually. So the Love Yourself Thin event. So we're going to do the 3 days, and then you're going to get support until January 12th. And that's $3,000. So you can hop over right now to my website. It just says work with Dara, and you can just press that one, and you can pay, and I'll shout you out on the call. It'll be so much fun to do that. I love when the ladies pay, and because it shows me that you're ready for change. And whatever you are feeling right now, if there's any questions or anything, please feel free to put it in the chat. You can raise your hand. I would love to help you with any of that. Oh, and look at that. It's right there in the chat. So you can just click on there, pay, and then I'll shout you out. And I even have an extra signing bonus for all of you who pay right here. So what you're going to get in the program, need to change date to January 2020. Time is passing. There is no time till the present. You got this, Jess. Totally. And I want to tell you that, oh yeah, that's right. Thank you, Rochelle. So there is it, depending, actually Canadians and Americans, you have your insurance plans have money to go towards these things. And I do have a form there of, you can fill that out and you can get the money back. But I do want to, with you, Jess, there's no time. There's no time better. I had one client. Oh, the date says, oh, it says it. Oh, that's hilarious. Thank you, Jess. The way to catch me. I will fix that. Thank you so much. But the, when I had one client last year, she hired me on December 14th. And then, but like last October, the ladies that hired me, they were like, what are you telling us during, but I'm telling you, this is the best time. So thank you for catching that. I love it. Okay. So $3,000. And so this is what happens in the Love Yourself Thin. Weight loss science is actually simple. You create your very own protocol, which I realize is also spelled incorrectly, which I'm going to fix. And you're going to learn to troubleshoot your own food plan. So we're going to go through all of that. I have ladies that have lost 50, 60, 80 pounds. I don't even know what they eat. So then the second phase is emotions. Really, you don't need to be afraid of emotions, because why are we buffering? Because we want to feel a different emotion. We don't want to feel the feeling that we have right now. So you're going to understand about buffering. You're going to understand about what's costing you with calories and fabric and relationships. And you're going to take ownership of your own feelings. And one of the things that I coach on so much with the ladies in the group is perfectionism, people pleasing, and procrastination. It's the triple P that is so huge. And I really want to emphasize to you that we don't have a knowledge problem. We don't have a knowledge problem. Like I said, probably you could all teach everyone how to lose the weight. It's keeping it off. And the reason we don't keep it off is because we don't understand this emotional piece that is so important. And the people pleasing, the perfectionism, and the procrastination is such a deterrent to so many people for the way that they show up for themselves. And so that is a huge focus. And I do have the 12-step perfection recovery program that is available. And you can actually, when you buy today, you can get access to that. You get your own digital copy. You have me teaching it twice actually in this one portal that I have of all the extra bonus classes. I'm getting ahead of myself. And then the third phase of Love Yourself Thin is you get to learn really about like what your thoughts are creating. 95% of our thoughts are unconscious. And so we're learning to think about our thinking so that we're not like, we're really going on autopilot and not in the best way possible. So we're going to see what's going on. We're going to correct those, and then we're going to get better habits that are going to serve us. We build self-confidence to make our goals, and we create goals and achieve them, which is so much fun to celebrate. Okay. So what is the result of the Love Yourself Thin process? Well, you understand why you are overweight and unhappy with your life. You're like, oh, that's why. And then you implement the tools and build yourself a life that you want. And I love this. One of my clients at the end of the 12 weeks, I said, so what was like the biggest thing for you? And she's a very well-accomplished woman, has done so much. And she said, I am no longer a crash test dummy in my own life. And all the ladies in the group were like, yes, that's what it's been. We feel really unempowered. We feel like what people say to us, or like COVID or the politics or whatever it is, if we feel like it's controlling our life and we're just like on the ride and we don't even know how to get out of it. But I teach you to slow everything down and to understand that you truly are in control of your own life. So how do I guarantee success for my clients? Because I do have a money back guarantee that you will lose 12 pounds minimum. And so as I've been thinking about, because you get the 12-step process or 12 modules and how I guarantee like weight loss and how you keep it off. So that's for $3,000. And then of course we have the coaching for the 12, 13 weeks afterwards. But then I think, what's going to really help these ladies? And I used to be a one-on-one coach, and I had so much demand that it was basically like I needed to open a group program so I could accommodate all the women that wanted to work with me. So at first I didn't think that was such a good idea to do group because I was having so much success with my one-on-one clients. But then I realized something as I look back about what was going on with the one-on-one clients is that they no longer felt shame. And shame, like I said, it grows in dark and in the poop, right? So we got to take the shame out of weight loss, and group coaching is an amazing way to do that, because no longer do you feel alone. You don't feel like you feel so relatable. Like all these other ladies are sharing things and you're like, oh my goodness, what's happening? They're feeling the same way. That's insane. So now it's so relatable and you don't feel so broken. You realize that there's so many other people that are in the same boat. You can support each other. You can learn from each other. You rally with each other. You get ideas from each other, and you learn faster from others. I'm finding the more and more I do this, the faster and faster my clients are getting results. Like it is not unheard of for my ladies to lose 30 pounds in the 12 weeks. It's just becoming more and more common. Okay. So the Love Yourself Thin process. So you can attend live, which would be so fun. There's still rooms available. The 18th and 20th is coming around the corner. You can totally make it happen. And then we're going to be getting the group support until January. Oh, I fixed it, Jess. That one has it right, 2022. And so you have money back guarantee. So there's like zero risk in this program. Because I know so many of you are like, I've spent so much money on weight loss. There is zero risk, ladies. If you don't do that, and there's a few things you have to do, but they're very simple to like guarantee it, but you can get all your money back. So like really, what is the risk? And I do want to say, every time I think of this, I think of one of my clients who 64 years old. She just thought she was a goner. Like she thought there's no way I'm ever going to lose weight. And, she was on one of my pop-up groups, and I spoke to her and I said, I believe anyone, doesn't matter what your history is, anyone can change. And I truly believe that. I believe that is even more today than I did then. And she just last week has lost 39 pounds and 39 points on her cholesterol, because she said, it doesn't matter what I eat. It's just hereditary. I'm never going to change. And I want to tell you that I believe you can totally lose this weight and keep it off. These tools work. And we're quilters, not quitters. And the only way that it won't work is if you quit on yourself. But I have put so many things in this program that will just make your success inevitable. We have the group calls. You know what other thing I did that makes your success inevitable is we have a private Facebook group. I was like, what would it be like? Like I'm thinking about all the obstacles that people have had to losing weight. And I'm like, what is it? Is it that you can't get access to somebody? I remember thinking that. I'm like, I just need to ask somebody. I just need to help somebody reinforce. First of all, I didn't even know the possibility. But when I knew that they had this tools and it worked, so I thought, if I could have a Facebook group for these ladies where they could have access to me. I'm not saying that I'm open 24/7. I do sleep. I do have a life. I have a well-balanced life. But if you're having a struggle at 3 a.m, you can come to the group and you can write it out. And then when I have my planned time to be on Facebook, I can help you answer. You also get the support of all these other women that are going through the same thing. So it takes away all the drama, all the shame, all the discomfort. And again, you can learn from each other. You can rally, you can celebrate each other. You get ideas from what's working. And then when you learn, the faster you grow. Okay. So that is another way that I thought, how can I really create the success for these ladies? I am 100% interested in your success. Everything I do, all the work that I do is geared to having more success for my ladies. That's why I give these webinars, because I want you to know, you don't have to pay me a penny to know that it's possible. Even going on to signing up for my email, you got my 5-day training. That tells you all the foods you should eat. But I'm telling you, you have to learn to start thinking from your prefrontal cortex. You have to start realizing that you aren't a failure and that you can have success. And this process works, ladies. It totally works. So the Love Yourself Thin process is live October 18th, 19th, and 20th, which is, like I said, how many days is that? It's in 13 days or something. It's 11 days. 11 days. I'm going. And there's lots of other women going, but we want you there. And then you're going to have group coaching calls where you raise your hand and you get coached by me. And you're going to get reinforced understanding of the Love Yourself Thin process. So when you start now, you get to hop on the Monday call. So fun. And that's my mastermind ladies are there, my current group, and we work on our goals, and I have lots of extra, I have classes that reinforce the 12-step process. And so then you get access to all of my bonus classes. You get to get a head start. Okay. So the live event, October 18th to 20th, you can attend live or you can attend virtually. So who has any questions about that? Because I see lots of you on here. Who has questions on any of the things I'm saying right now? Okay, I'm here for you. Now, this is something that so many people are like, well, I kind of want my one-on-one coach. I don't know if I should have a one-on-one coach or if I should have a group coaching. Well, one of my clients has gone through the life coach school, and she's lost, I think, 35 pounds. She's doing so well. And she she's willing to coach you. And I've never been able to offer this. I don't know if I'll ever be able to offer such a value. This is a bonus. So this is approximately $1,500 bonus of having a private one-on-one coach. And she's going to help you to have so you can watch the manuals, and she can help reinforce that. So this is one of the things that I wanted to offer you ladies, because I know that there is a lot of shame and there's a lot of regret and a lot of even the idea of spending more money on weight loss, you just want to throw up, right? Because you're like, how many times have I gone down this road? And you feel like it's just never going to get better. But we don't have a knowledge problem. We have a thinking problem. And so I'm going to teach you how to start thinking about your thinking and solve for that. And I really want you to have a success. And so being able to offer a one-on-one coach is just another way of really helping you to assure your own success. Okay, so the Love Yourself Thin process, it's in 11 days. It's so fun. So you need to make a decision. Let's do it. And this is what I can coach you on right now. Yes or no. And I really want, one of the things that I really love about coaching is there will always, as a life coach, I'm here to help you making a decision, because when you make a decision, that brings power. So if you decide no, not a problem. Thank you for coming. It's okay. When you say no, though, you also are saying yes to continued problems and weight loss. So if you say yes to the program, then you're saying no to what? Because whenever we make a decision, there's always going to be the flip side, right? You can play devil's advocate or 50-50. There will always be pros and cons. So if you say yes to Love Yourself Thin, you're having the con of having to, that's the pro because you're going to come, but there'll be cons of like, you have of like doubt coming back and insecurities. And that's okay. Because I've thought of all the ways of helping you assure your results, right? Like that's why I have a money back guarantee, because I know that you are human and you have the human experience. And so that is going to be very normal for you to have some doubt. It's totally fine. In fact, if you don't have, that is where we are able to embrace that and learn from that. So I've spoken about the money back guarantee. So there's just a few things you have to do to have that. So you need to come to class weekly. You don't have to come to all 3 every week, but come to at least 1 a week, just 1 a week. I would definitely recommend 3, but just 1 a week to get your money back guarantee. There's 3 steps you have to do. They're very simple. I can't share them on here because they're part of the process. And then you need to do 3 thought downloads a week. So that's just like emptying out your brain and then doing 3 thought models. So those of you who came to my How to Solve Any Problem class, I talk about the thought model, and it's that simple. And you will lose 12 pounds through the holidays, ladies. So good. So here we have the live event, 18th to 20th. You learn the Love Yourself Thin process. You learn, oh, here's some more. There's some testimonials. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing those. So another thing that I do to really help you on this path, because I know what's happened with the diet mentality. I know the pitfalls. So at the 6-week mark, you have a one-on-one individual time with me. And we check in on your goals. We check in on how that process is going. And so that is another bonus. And then another bonus that I really want to help you. And I see some of the ladies on here that joined me last October. Every 4th Monday of the month, so once a month, we have a follow-up call and you can get coached. Because I am 100% interested in you having the most success ever. And when I think about a $3,000 commitment, I often just shake my head. I think, wow, they're getting all of this for $3,000. This is amazing. So yes, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And I want you to ask any question that you have of me. Have questions. Oh, yes. Thank you. I have 20-minute consults with any of you. So if you have questions that you feel you want some help with, I want you to feel really confident about you investing in yourself, because it's not just the money, it is the time. And when I talk about you believing in yourself, I want you to just get really curious about, do you believe in me as a coach? And you can watch the testimonials. You can see like the proof is in the pudding, right? Do you believe in the process of like when we start thinking about our thinking, we can change those results? And I want you to think about the belief in you. And one of the things that can happen is we think, well, I've never had success in dieting before. Well, first of all, diets are flawed. They're meant to do a short-term weight loss, but how we show up in one area of our life is how we show up in all areas of our life. So one of the things that's been so helpful for me was I realized, well, I'm really good at being a mom. I'm really good at being a wife. I was really good at being a teacher. But when I first started being a teacher, I wasn't as good. When I first started being a mom, I wasn't as good. And when I first started being a wife, I wasn't as good. But I didn't quit on myself. And I just made a decision to do something. I implemented it. I evaluated it. And then I thought, what went well, what didn't go well, and what am I going to do better next time? And then I got to be a better mom. And I got to be a better wife. And I got to be a better teacher. I got to be a better free motion quilter. I knew when I started free motion quilting, I was not going to be very good at it. I knew it. I expected that I wasn't going to be amazing right off the bat. And because I expected that there was going to be a learning curve, I was so much more patient with myself. I was so much more kind to myself. And so that's what I want to ask you, to just give yourself a break. Give yourself some grace. Give yourself some compassion. And like I see ladies on here that because they did that, they have lost 60 pounds. They have lost 55 pounds since Christmas. They have had so much success because they were willing to just be a beginner at the beginning, and they just decided that they weren't going to quit on themselves. And when they did want to quit on themselves, because they're human, they knew that they had me, and they knew they had the tools, and they knew that they were a person that hasn't quit before on other things. And so they had so much success. And so they took that version of them who was a beginner, who wasn't as good at the beginning, but who kept at it, right? Like, remember a rotary cutter? Rotary cutters are really scary, but you didn't quit on using the rotary cutter. And now, aren't you so glad you know how to be so good with the rotary cutter? Because you can cut so much more efficiently, effectively, so easily. Like, if you would have just like never given yourself the opportunity to use a rotary cutter, your quilts would not be the quality that they are now, because you just can't get the same results if you are using scissors when you're cutting. Okay. All right. I just wanted to share that with you all. I'm so pleased that you're here. And I do really want to offer you that you can totally do this. And I do invite you to come to a call with me with your decision. Yes or no? Because if it's a no, I want you to feel powerful about the no. And I feel really good about it. And if it's a yes, I want to help you through that too. Okay. Any other questions? I do appreciate Rochelle. Thank you so much for putting all those links in there. So good. You can put them in the chat, or you can just book a consult with me. Today is podcast afternoon, so I have time. If you book a consult, I'll have time. I have a little break from writing my podcast. Are there any other questions? I love that you're here. I just want to reassure you right now, especially when I look at my own life and I look at my clients that have done this, I get so excited for them. They are doing things they never, ever, ever thought they would do. They go in kayaks, and they go on airplanes, and they go on trips, and they show up so much more powerfully for themselves and their husbands. One of my clients this morning was talking about how she finally said something to her husband, and she felt so empowered that what she had to say matters. And she was thanking me. She said, my husband wants to thank you, because it's like he's got his wife back. He has this woman that she's just more able to be her. So this is going to affect all the areas of your life, your relationships, the way you spend your day, the way you talk to yourself. So fun. It's going to be some work, totally. But anything worth doing is going to be work. But you know what the fun part about the work is? You're not alone. You're never alone. You've got me. You've got this amazing group of women. So much fun. It's the best way to lose weight, I'm telling you. Mental and physical. So many of my ladies at the end, like not the end, because you're never done. It's not like laundry. But when they like reach these milestones of like 20 pounds and 30 pounds and 50 pounds, and they kept it off for so long, they're like, Dara, I thought it was just the weight that I was going to lose here. I had no idea how much better quality of life my life is going to be because of this. You don't have to feel stuck all the time. You don't have to feel, Yeah, like anxiety, we know how to work through that. It's like one of my favorite things to teach people. So I can't wait to welcome you and to Love Yourself Thin. And let's meet. Let's talk. Tell me, what's your decision? You got this. All right, ladies. I can't wait to welcome you and to Love Yourself Thin. And for those of you who are really good at hand stitching and you can attend live, I can't wait to learn from you because I have Twilight Garden and I'm scared to death. But I thought if I'm going to learn to do that, what better place at Primitive Gatherings Retreat Center. So we're going to be hand stitching at night. It's going to be so fun. You're going to have 2 moda designers there. Vanessa Christensen is coming. And of course, Lisa is coming. And it's just going to change everything about your life. And I say that, and I'm not exaggerating. You really will be a very different person, someone who you really love being. All right. Take care, everyone.